everybody, welcome back to another episode of GotGameTesters. Today's game is a solitaire dungeon crawling game, Deck Delver. Okay guys, this is the game Deck Delver. It is a solitaire dungeon crawling card game essentially. Now how you set this up is you can set them up in certain formations. This is the most common, the pyramid. You're going to find one boss from the boss deck. You can choose at random or you can choose personally. The other thing you do is you're going to find a couple of these dragon cards and you're going to randomly select a few to put into the actual dungeon itself. Then, what you're going to do is you're going to try to pick a door or a room essentially by flipping over one of these cards. Now, in this one I find the Ogre. I'm going to fight the Ogre and I'm going to use cards from my hand, which just happen to be the same type of cards as the cards that are in the dungeon. It's interesting and I'll explain that in a minute, but you're going to use these cards. There's a player side and a monster side, and you'll fight the monster, and if you do, you can bring him down over here to essentially kind of like a trophy place where you monsters that you have slaughtered or defeated, and then you're going to use those to buy cool items from off the top of the deck. And I'll explain that in just a second. As you go through this pyramid, you're going to keep going through and defeating these monsters one by one until you defeat all the monsters and you get to the boss, and if you can defeat the boss, then you win the game. Pretty simple. Why don't we go ahead and check out the cards themselves. Okay, as you see here, there's several different things going on just the one card. Every monster is going to have 3 stats. And then it has a special ability here at the bottom. Then, as you look, you can flip the card over and we have more of the player side where it has the same 3 stats but different numbers, some gold up here, and then an item and a special ability that it comes with. Now, what does this do? Well, essentially when you fight a monster, you're going to look at these numbers and you're going to flip over a card to add more stats onto it. So we have the 3-1-2 plus the 1-2-4. So now we have 4 plus and 3 and 6. So that'll be the new total. Now you're just going to use the special ability of the original monster, but you're going to add on his buddy's stats as well. Once you do that, you're going to go through your hand and you're going to go, I wonder if I can defeat this. So you look, we have 4, then 3, then 6. Well, this is exactly that, so I need to be able to beat those stats, so I'm not going to be able to use that card. Maybe this one, 5, 3, 3. No, that won't beat enough of them. And you're going to go through until you find a card in your hand that will win at least 2 of the 3 stats itself. So something close to this maybe. Anyway, so you're going to find one of those and you're going to use different items as well. So sometimes you'll get a shield or the ice spell, which will add to your stats. A magic arrow, if you have a bow, you can use those as well. Basically to defeat these monsters. And then you're going to, once you've defeated those monsters, like I said before, you can use them to get cool new items. And you discard those monsters to get the cool new items. Now, if you run out of cards in your deck and in your discard, because sometimes what will happen is that not only will you have gone through the deck, but you'll have exiled basically everything out of your discard pile as well. Once you've done that, then you've lost the game. So what you're trying to do is trying to keep your deck full by killing monsters, using them for cool items, and then keep going through the deck for you. And that's pretty much it. If you can get through the entire pyramid or the entire formation and kill off all the monsters and still have cards left in your deck, then you have considered won the game. Okay, so let's talk about Deck Delver for a minute. It is definitely a game that's going to take you... I mean, it took me, every single game took over an hour, believe it or not, for a solitaire game. Now, let me explain some things. First of all, I think the theme is spot on, okay? If we're going to do it with a report card, whoosh, whoosh, then we're going to... You like how I do my own sound effects? Whoosh, there, now it's gone. Now it's back. Whoosh, anyway, okay, so anyway, the point is that Deck Delver has a fantastic theme. I love the fact that you can do a solitaire dungeon crawling adventure simply with some cards. Okay, so it's on the cheaper end. So I like that a lot. Love it. I'm going to give it an A++ on that one for the report card. Second of all, I think that the artwork is also great. Okay, I love the format of the cards. I think there's too much going on, actually. Let me scratch that a little bit. The layout of the cards is different than the format. What I mean by format is I like the look of it, okay? I like the feel that it gives me. The layout, however, is a bit too busy on each card. I love the artwork, though, on the monsters. I think it's kind of got like that 16-bit feel from, you know, the Super Nintendo or something like that. So I really think that this game should focus on that kind of art, because that's the kind of feel that I'm getting from this. So that's also great. So an A+ for that. Now, as far as the mechanics go, this is really hurting my head, okay? It's a lot of number comparing. That's simply all it is. I compare this number and that number and this number, and then I add these modifiers to my number and these modifiers to his number. I almost feel like I have to take a piece of paper to write down each of the numbers and what the modifications are. And then once I've done all the calculations, all I'm simply doing is figuring out which one is higher and which one's lower. Okay, that's really bad. All right, there's nothing fun about that. All right, mechanics, I'm going to give it a C-, only because I like the fact that you can use them for both the player and the monster, and you can kind of mix them through. That's cool. Basically, the problem with comparing numbers is that it's not giving you the feel that, oh, I'm going to slay that monster. Okay, a monster should have an attack and some HP, and then you should have an attack and some HP, and maybe some magic abilities or something like that. If you want to have like a magic stat, that's cool too, on how to use or resist magic. I understand that. But in this one, it's literally just like, okay, you know, red number, yellow number, and blue number, and then see how those work out. And it's not giving that feel, that really cool dungeon crawling feel. Now, if anybody knows anything about me, dungeon crawling is the best game out there. You can go read it on my website right now if you have the chance. Dungeon crawling is my absolute favorite theme, and so this should be an easy A for me, but that mechanic is killing it. Everything else seems to work out smoothly, you know, buying things and the monsters. It's all really cool, but I don't feel like I'm slaying a monster. I feel like I'm simply, you know, outdoing it in math. The fun factor, because of everything that I've just explained, I can only give it like a D+ at best. Just because I literally have to get up from the table, walk away after every half hour because my brain is hurting and not enjoying the feel of it. It's like too much math, too many modifiers, without an easy way to remember what those modifiers, like how it's added up. Maybe if you had a die or something that, you know, I don't know. Anyway, you can figure it out, Mr. Designer. I'm going to leave that to you because that's your job. And I don't want to tell you what to do. Lastly, I should say that, does this got game? Yes, it's got game. I know I just sounded like I butchered the crap out of it, but that's okay because this game has got game. It's just really that one mechanic of comparing numbers is really killing it. Everything else is going for it. I like the fact that there's a difficulty deck so you can randomize how much more difficult the game is going to be. The artifacts is a cool idea so that way they can help you out. Again, I don't feel like they're strong enough to help you in the next level. The formation thing, I like that idea that, you know, but it makes it kind of more of a mahjong type situation, like solitaire mahjong that you play on the computer. It's okay, it's all right, but overall I think it's got game. I just think it also has a long way to go. So, do I suggest this game to you? Yes, but only after it's done, okay? So any of you viewers out there, if you want to get a copy of this, I'm sure the designer would love to send you a copy for playtesting. Personally, I feel like if he can just get that root theme of going in, killing stuff, taking loot, and then using it to buy cool stuff to kill more monsters, if he can just tweak that big, you know, that main mechanic and pick something else for it, you can have a solid, fun, solitaire dungeon crawling game that's cheap because it's made out of cards and things like that. We really appreciate your viewership. We hope that next time you guys can get, you know, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave us a comment on what you think. Maybe the designer could take a few tips on how to make the game a little better if you want to. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time on another episode of GotGameTesters.